Hello everyone, myself Bismi Picharian, Assistant Professor at Suresh Vihar University. Today I am going to discuss about the drugs that is used in the treatment of congestive heart failure, CHF. Learning objective of this topic is this lesson helps the students to understand the mechanism of action and the uses of the cardiac glycosides. Cardiac glycosides is used in the treatment of the CHF. Mainly the cardiac glycosides. Here we are discussing the digoxin and the digitoxin. After this lesson, students will be able to describe the mechanism of action, uses of the cardiac glycosides, mainly the digoxin and the digitoxin. So first we have to know that what is CHF. Okay, so the CHF means congestive heart failure. Okay, congestive heart failure is a chronic progressive condition that affects the pumping power of the heart muscle. Okay, so the CHF is a chronic condition that affects the pumping power of the heart muscle. While often referred to simply as heart failure, CHF specifically refers to the stage in which fluid builds up within the heart and causes it to pump inefficiently. Fluid builds up within the heart and that causes it to pump inefficiently. So that is the condition is known as congestive heart failure or CHF. So CHF is a chronic disease or chronic condition that affects the pumping power of the heart muscle. Okay, pumping power of the heart muscle is affected, mean insufficient or inefficiently the pump will works in the condition of the congestive heart failure. So the congestive heart failure is a chronic condition that affects the pumping power of the heart muscle while often referred to simple as heart failure. CHF specifically refers to the stage in which fluid builds up within the heart and that causes it to pump inefficiently. Coronary artery disease is the most common form of the heart disease. Okay, coronary artery disease is the most common form of the heart disease and the most common cause of the heart failure. Okay, coronary artery disease is the most common cause of the heart failure, and the disease results from the buildup of fatty deposits in the arteries. Okay, fatty deposits in the artery means hyperlipidemic condition. Okay, plaques are formed inside the arteries. Okay, so that is the fatty deposit. So that is the major cause of this coronary artery disease, and that reduces the blood flow and can lead to the heart attack. When the blood flow is reduced, at that time pumping efficiently will be get reduced. Okay, so the coronary artery disease is the most common form of the heart disease. Coronary artery disease is the most common form of the heart disease and the most common cause of the heart failure. The disease results from the buildup of fatty deposits in the arteries when reduces blood flow. Okay, the fatty deposits in the arteries is known as plaque or atherosclerotic condition. Okay, and that is the condition of hyperlipidemia. Okay, hyperlipidemic condition is the fatty deposits in the artery, and the name of this fatty deposits, okay, that is known as plaques, atherosclerotic plaques, and that reduces the blood flow and that leads to the heart attack. The symptoms of end-stage congestive heart failure include dyspnea, chronic cough, wheezing, edema, nausea, or the lack of appetite, high heart rate, and confusion or impaired thinking. So these are the condition of the end-stage congestive heart failure. Okay, some symptoms are there that recognize the patient is suffering from the CHF, means dyspnea, chronic cough. Chronic cough is the symptom of the end stage congestive heart failure. Wheezing, edema, nausea, lack of the appetite, high heart rate, and the confusion or impaired thinking is the thinking are the end stage congestive heart failure. Positively inotropic agents increases the strength of muscular contraction. Inotropic agents, okay, inotropic agents increases the strength of the muscular contraction. Positively inotropic agents are increasing the strength of the muscular contraction. The term inotropic state is the most commonly used in the reference to the various drugs that affect the strength of the contraction of the heart muscle, mainly the myocardial contractility. Okay, so the term inotropic state is the most commonly used in reference to various drugs that affect the strength of the contraction of the heart muscle, mainly the myocardial contractility. Cardiac glycosides. Okay, so in the treatment of the CHF, cardiac glycosides are the most important drug. Doctors are prescribing in the treatment of the CHF. So the cardiac glycosides are the class of the organic compounds. Okay, cardiac glycosides are the class of the organic compounds that increases the output force of the heart. Cardiac glycosides they are able to increase the output force of the heart and increase its rate of the contraction by acting on the cellular sodium potassium ATPase pump. Okay, so the cardiac glycosides are prescribed in the treatment of this CHF, and these cardiac glycosides are the class of the organic compound. Okay, cardiac glycosides are the class of the organic compounds that increases the output force of the heart. Okay, cardiac glycoside increases the output force of the heart and increases its rate of contraction by acting on the cellular sodium potassium ATPase pump. The cardiac glycosides are present in Digitalis, Squill, and the Strophanthus. Okay, cardiac glycosides are present in Digitalis, Squills, and the Strophanthus. So we have, wait a second. So the congestive heart failure is the state when the heart is not able to pump sufficient blood to meet the body's requirement. Okay, so CHF is the state when the heart is not able to pump sufficient blood to meet the body's requirement. Okay, so that is the condition. Okay, so that is the CHF definition. CHF, or the congestive heart failure, is the state when the heart is not able to pump sufficient blood to meet the body's requirement. Okay, heart is not able to pump sufficient blood to meet the body's requirement, the condition of congestive heart failure. In this condition, the blood supply to the heart is not able to meet the metabolic demand of the heart for the oxygen. Okay, so in the CHF condition, the blood supply to the heart, the blood supply to the heart is not able to meet the metabolic demand of the heart for oxygen. CHF occurs when there is more demand of oxygen to heart than its supply. Okay, so CHF occurs when there is more requirement or more demand of the oxygen to the heart than its supply. Okay, so the congestive heart failure is a state when the heart is not able to pump sufficient blood to meet the body's requirement. In this condition, the blood supply to the heart is not able to meet the metabolic demands of the heart for oxygen. CHF occurs when there is when there is more demand or increased demand of the oxygen to the heart than its supply. Okay, when the oxygen supply is less in the heart than the demand, that condition is known as cardiac or the congestive heart failure. So the congestive heart failure is the state when the heart is not able to pump sufficient blood to meet the body's requirement. Major causes of CHF are myocardial infarction, high blood pressure, arterial fibrillation, abnormal heartbeats. Okay, so main causes of the CHF are myocardial infarction, high blood pressure, arterial fibrillation, abnormal heartbeats. So these are the major causes of the congestive heart failure. Congestive heart failure, we have to use agent which increases the force of the contraction of the heart. Okay, in the treatment of the congestive heart failure, we have to take the medicine that increases the force of the contraction of the heart. Okay, those medicine we have to take that increases the force of the contraction of the heart in the treatment of the congestive heart failure. So first, positive inotropic agents. Okay, positive inotropic agents are drugs which increases the strength of the muscle contraction. Okay, positive inotropic agents are drugs that increases the strength of the muscle contraction. Okay, so positive inotropic drugs are those drugs that increases the strength of the muscle contraction. The drug increases the concentration of the intracellular calcium by inhibiting the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme. Okay, the drug that increases the concentration of the intracellular calcium. Okay, increases the the drug that increases the concentration of the intracellular calcium by inhibiting the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme. Okay, so the positive inotropic agents, first is the positive inotropic agents that we are using in the treatment of the congestive heart failure, and the positive inotropic agents are those drugs that increases the strength of the muscle contraction. Okay, that increases the strength of the muscle contractions are the positive inotropic agents. Second, the drug we can take in the treatment of the CHSR that increases the concentration of the intercellular calcium, increases the concentration of the intercellular calcium by inhibiting the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme. Okay, by inhibiting the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme, and with the increase, when the calcium ion is increased, or when the calcium concentration increase, there is increase in the myocardial contractibility. Okay, there is increase in the myocardial contractibility. So in the treatment of the CHF, we can take the inotropic drug that increases the strength of the smooth muscles. Okay, sorry, strength of the muscle contraction. Increases the strength of the muscle contraction, that is the positive inotropic agents. Seconds are the drug that increases the concentration of the intracellular calcium by inhibiting the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme. When the calcium ion is increased inside the cell, what happen? There is increase in the myocardial contractibility. So here we are talking about the main cardiac glycoside, the treatment of the cardiac glycoside. Next is cardiac glycosides. Okay, so first drug first choice of the drug is positive inotropic agent. Second is the drug that increases the calcium ion concentration. Okay, third is the cardiac glycosides. Among these three drugs, the cardiac glycosides are mainly used in the treatment of the congestive heart failure. Okay, among these three drugs, the cardiac glycosides we are using in the treatment of the CHF. So, cardiac glycoside consists of two moiety. Okay, cardiac glycoside consists of two moiety. First one is glycone moiety, second is glycone moiety. Glycone moiety is the sugar moiety, and glycone moiety is the non-sugar moiety. Okay, so the sugar glycone it provides the favorable solubility and the distribution characteristics of the glycoside. So sugar portion in the cardiac glycoside that facilitate the solubility and the distribution characteristics of the glycosides, whereas the non-sugar portion, that is known as a glycone, that is responsible for the cardiotonic activity of the glycoside. So cardiac glycosides are composed of two moiety, a glycone part and the glycone part. Glycone part is sugar moiety, and glycone part is non-sugar moiety. The sugar moiety is responsible for the solubility and the distribution of the glycosides, and the glycone portion is responsible for the cardiotonic activity. Okay, cardiotonic activities is due to the glycone portion in the cardiac glycosides, and the which portion increases the solubility and the distribution? The sugar portion. Sugar portion is provide the or facilitate the solubility and the distribution characteristics of the glycosides. So there are in the major cause of the major cause of the congestive heart failure is myocardial infarction, abnormal heartbeat, and the high blood pressure. These three are the main cause of the congestive heart failure. And the congestive heart failure is a state when the heart is not able to pump sufficient blood to meet the body's requirement. The heart is not able to pump sufficient blood to meet the body's requirement is the condition of CHF, congestive heart failure. And the major cause of the CHF is myocardial infarction, high blood pressure, and irregular heartbeat or abnormal heartbeat. Then, then the treatment of the we have to talk about the treatment of this congestive heart failure. So the congestive heart failure we can treat by with the help of inotropic drugs. Inotropic drugs are those drugs that increases the strength of the muscle contraction. Okay, inotropic drugs are those drugs that increases the strength of the muscle contraction. Next drug is the drug that increases the calcium ion in the that increases the intracellular calcium concentration. When the calcium concentration is increased, myocardial contractibility is also increases. The second choice of the drug is the drug that increases the calcium ion. Third choice is the cardiac glycoside. Among these three drugs, the cardiac glycosides are the mainly used in the treatment of the CHF. And the cardiac glycosides consist of two moiety, glycan moiety and the aglycan moiety. Glycan moiety is sugar moiety and glycan moiety is non-sugar moiety. And the glycan moiety is responsible for the distribution and the solubility of characteristics of the glycosides, and the non-glycan moiety or the aglycan moiety is responsible for the cardiotonic activity of the glycosides. And these two portions are interconnected with the glycosidic linkage. Okay, glycosidic linkage. The aglycan moiety, the steroid nucleus has the unique set of fused ring system that makes the aglycan moiety structurally distinct from the other more common steroid ring system. Okay, so the aglycan moiety is the steroid nucleus. Okay, the aglycan moiety is the steroid nucleus that has the unique set of fused ring. In the aglycan moiety of the cardiac glycoside, steroid nucleus has the unique set of the fused ring that makes the aglycan moiety structurally different from the more common steroid ring system. The ring A and B, C and D are cis-fused, while ring B and C are transfused. A and B, C and D, these are the cis-fused, whereas B and C are the transfused. Okay, this is the aglycan portion. Okay, A and B and the C and B are the cis transfusion. B and C are the B and C is the transfusion. Okay, transfused. So the aglycan moiety have the steroid nucleus. Okay, the aglycan moiety have the steroid nucleus, but this steroid nucleus is different from the other steroid ring system because this steroid nucleus of the aglycan moiety has the unique set of the fused ring system. Means A and B and C and D both are the cis-fused ring system, whereas the B and C are the transfused system. So this makes different from other steroid ring system. So this is the A and B is the A and B is the cis, C and D is the cis-fused, whereas B and C is the transfused. And this makes the different from other steroid nucleus, but this is the steroid nucleus. Aglycan portion is the steroid nucleus here. Then next we are talking about the sugar moiety. Okay, sugar moiety, 1 to 4 sugars are found to be present in most cardiac glycosides attached to the OH group. Okay, attached to the OH group. So 1 to 4 sugars are found in the cardiac glycoside. They are attached to the OH group. The sugar most commonly used include L-ramenose, D-glucose, D-digitoxose, D-digitalose, D-diginose, D-sarmentose, D-valerose, D-fructose. These are the sugar moiety present in the sugar glycan portion of the cardiac glycoside. These sugar predominantly exist in the cardiac glycosides in the B formation, B conformation. So these sugars are predominantly exist in the cardiac glycosides in the B conformation. The presence of acetyl group on the sugar, the presence of the acetyl group on the sugar affects the lipophilic character and the kinetics of the entire glycosides. Okay, the presence of the acetyl group on the sugar affects the lipophilic character and the kinetic of the entire glycoside. So the sugar moiety found in the cardiac glycosides, we already know that. Okay, and they are D-glucose, D-digilaxose, okay, digitoxose, R-ramanose, D-cymarose, digitalose. The number and the identity of sugar moiety vary from one glycoside to another. Okay, how much glycone portion is present, numbers and the identity of the sugar moiety vary from one glycoside to another. The sugar usually exists in the beta configuration. Okay, the sugar moieties exist in the beta configuration. The sugar portion conjugate with the 3-hydroxy group of the glycone portion with the beta 1,4 glycosidic linkage. So the sugar portion is attached with the glycone portion with the 3-hydroxy group. Okay, with the 3-hydroxy group of the glycone portion with the beta 1,4 glycoside linkage. Okay, the glycone and the glycone portion is connected with the glycosidic linkage, and the sugar moiety is exist in the beta configuration, and the number and the identity of the sugar is vary from one glycoside to another glycoside, and the sugar moiety is attached with the OH group of the glycone moiety with the glycosidic linkage. With the glycosidic linkage, these two moieties are interconnected. Next, we are talking about this glycone portion. So we have already I have already discussed about the glycone portion. So glycone portion is a steroidal nucleus. Okay, glycone portion is a steroidal nucleus with a unique set of the fused rings. So I have already told that AB and the CD are cis fused, whereas the ring B and BC have the trans configuration. The steroid nucleus carries two angular methyl group at C10 and the C13. So look at this C10 and the C13. Okay, methyl group is there. Okay, methyl group is there. Okay, so the hydroxyl group at the third position is the site attachment for the sugar portion. Okay, look at this third position, this OH group. OH group is the site for the attachment of the glycone portion. Okay, so here one glycosidic linkage is formed to attach the glycone moiety. The size of the unsaturated lactone ring at the C17, the size of the C17 group. Okay, lactone ring varies with the source of the glycosides. Okay, so this R will vary with the size of the glycoside, and it is classified into two types: cardinaloids, that is 5-member lactone, bufadienoids, that is 6-member lactone. So at this C7 position, the lactone group is attached, that or the size of the unsaturated lactone ring, at the C17 position, that varies with the source of the glycosides. Okay, and it is classified into two types: cardinaloids and the bufadienoids. Okay, cardinaloids are the 5-membered ring, and the bufadienoids are the 6-membered lactone. Okay, so this is all about the glycone moiety and the glycone moiety. So look at this. This is the digoxin drug. Our first drug is digoxin. Digoxin is the cardiac glycoside drug. So digoxin structure is this. Okay, so look at this structure. Glycone moiety, same glycone moiety is there. Glycone moiety here. Tridigitoxose. Okay, here tridigitoxose is there, and this is the glycosidic linkage, and this is here 5-membered lactone ring. Okay, 5-member lactone ring, that is known as cardinaloids. Okay, cardinaloids. So this is the structure of the digoxin. So we can write it's a SAR also. The CS3 methyl group is present at the C. Wait a second. We'll count. We'll count it. Okay. Sixth position and the 13th position. 6th position and the 13th position. 2 methyl group is necessary for the activity of cardiac activity, cardiac glycosides activity. Okay, and 5-member ring is present in the digoxin. 5-member ring is known as cardinaloids. Okay, and this tridigitoxose. Okay, 3 molecule of the sugar is present in the tridigitoxose, and that is interconnected with the glycosidic linkage. Okay, interconnected with the glycosidic linkage. So this is all about the digoxin structure. Okay, you have to learn the glycol moiety structure first. After that, you can easily write the digoxin structure. Okay, in the digoxin structure, 5-member lactone is attached. Okay, and that is known as cardinaloids. Mechanism of action. Digoxin has 2 principal mechanism of action which are selectively employed depending on the indication. So digoxin has two main mechanism of action. First one is positive inotropics. Okay, positive inotropic means it increases the force of the contraction of the heart by reversibly inhibiting the activity of the myocardial sodium potassium ATPase pumps. Okay, so positive inotropic drugs that increases the force of that contraction of the heart. Okay, force of the contraction of the heart is increased with this positive inotropic drugs by reversibly inhibiting the activity. How this force of the contraction increases? By reversibly inhibiting the activity of the myocardial sodium potassium ATPase pump, and this is an enzyme that controls the movement of iron into the heart. Okay, so this sodium potassium ATPase pump is an enzyme that controls the movement of the iron into the heart. So digoxin has 2 mechanism of action. Okay, first is positive inotropic. So positive inotropic means it increases the force of the contraction of the heart. Positive inotropic means it increases the force of the contraction of the heart by reversibly inhibiting the activity of myocardial sodium potassium ATPase pump. Okay, and this is the enzyme that controls the movement of the iron into the heart. Okay, and the uses of digoxin is a type of the medicine called as cardiac glycoside. It is used to control some heart problems. Okay, it is used to control some heart problems such as irregular heartbeats. Okay, so irregular heartbeats is a major cause of the CHF. In that atrial fibrillation. Atrial fibrillation is the cause of the CHF, and it can also manage to help the symptom of heart failure, usually with other medicines. Okay, so it also helps to manage the symptoms of the heart failure, usually with other medicines. So this digoxin is a cardiac glycoside. It is used to control some heart problems such as irregular heartbeat, that is known as arrhythmia. Okay, irregular heartbeat is known as arrhythmia, and that includes atrial fibrillation. It also used to manage the symptom of the heart failure, usually with other medicines. So we had seen the mechanism of action. Let's see once again. This digoxin inhibits the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme. Okay, sodium potassium ATPase enzyme is inhibited. Digoxin inhibits the sodium potassium ATPase membrane pump and increases the intracellular sodium ion. Okay, increases the intracellular sodium ion. The sodium calcium exchanger, the sodium calcium exchanger tries to extrude the sodium ion and pump in more calcium ion. Okay, that this tries to extrude the sodium ion and pump in calcium ion, and thereby increasing the intracellular concentration of the calcium ion. Okay, that increase when calcium ion pumps in the, so that will increase the intracellular contract concentration of the calcium ion. This promotes the activation of the contractile proteins. Okay, this activation, okay, this increased concentration of the calcium promotes the activation of the contractile proteins, that as examples are actin and the myosin. Actin and the myosin activates. Digoxin also on digoxin also act on the electrical activity of the heart. Okay, digoxin also act on the electrical activity of the heart, increases the slope of the phase 4 depolarization, increases the slope of the phase 4 depolarization, shortens the action potential duration and decreases the maximal diastolic potential. Okay, it increases the slope of phase 4 depolarization, shortens the action potential duration and decreases the maximal diastolic potential. So what this digoxin do? Digoxin inhibits the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme membrane pump and increases the intracellular sodium ion. Okay, and the sodium calcium exchanger tries to extrude the sodium and try extrude sodium ion and the pump in more calcium ion, thereby increases the intracellular concentration of the calcium, and that promote the, when this calcium concentration is increases, that activate the contractile protein, that is actin and the myosin, and this digoxin also act on the electrical activity of the heart. This act on the electrical activity of the heart, that increases the slope of the phase 4 depolarization, shortens the action potential duration. Okay, shortens the action potential duration and decreases the maximum diastolic potential. And let's see the uses. It is used for treating and managing the CHF, congestive cardiac insufficiency. Okay, it is used in the treatment of congestive heart insufficiency, heart failure, and the treatment of arrhythmia. It is also used to treat certain types of the irregular heartbeat. Okay, it is also used to treat certain types of the irregular heartbeat. So this is all about the digoxin. Okay, so digoxin is a type of the medicine that called as cardiac glycosides. It is used to control some heart problems such as irregular heartbeat, that is known as arrhythmia, and it is also used in the treatment of atrial fibrillation. It can also help to manage the symptoms of heart failure, usually with other medicines. Next drug is digitoxin. Okay, so digitoxin is also same structure. Look at this steroid nucleus, 5-member lactone. Okay, and the tridigitoxose. Okay, so this is the digitoxin structure. So let's see the mechanism of action. So the mechanism of action, digitoxin inhibit the sodium potassium ATPase membrane pump. Okay, sodium digitoxin inhibits the sodium potassium ATPase membrane pump, results in increase in the intracellular sodium and the calcium concentration. Okay, so digitoxin inhibit the sodium ATPase membrane pump, resulting in an increase in intracellular sodium and the calcium concentration. This increased cellular concentration of calcium may promote the activation of the contractile protein. Okay, when this concentration of the calcium increases, what happens? The protein that promote the activation of the proteins. Okay, when the calcium is increases, that promote the activation of the contractile proteins. Okay, so the contractile proteins are actin and the myosin. Okay, digitoxin also act on the electrical activity of the heart, increases the slope of the phase 4 depolarization, shortens the duration of action potential, and decreases the maximal diastolic potential. So this is all about the digitoxin. Let's see the uses of digitoxin. Digitoxin is used to treat the heart failure. Okay, the heart failure, digitoxin is used to treat the heart failure, usually along with other medication. Okay, so digitoxin is given with other medication. So this is used in the treatment of the heart failure. It is also used to treat certain types of the irregular heartbeat. Okay, it is also used to treat certain irregular heartbeats such as chronic atrial fibrillation. Treating heart failure may help maintain your ability to walk and exercise and may improve the strength of the heart. So digitoxin is used to treat the heart failure, usually with other medications. It is also used to treat certain types of the irregular heartbeats such as chronic atrial fibrillation, and treating heart failure may help maintain the ability to work, and exercise may improve the strength of the heart. So we have seen two drugs here, digoxin and the digitoxin, in the treatment of the congestive heart failure. So congestive heart failure is the state when the heart is not able to when the heart is not able to pump sufficient blood to the heart. Okay, sorry, sufficient blood to meet the body's requirements. So the congestive heart failure is the condition when the heart is not able to pump sufficient blood to meet the body's requirements. In this condition, the blood supply to the heart is not able to meet the metabolic demands. Okay, in this condition, the blood supply is decreased. Okay, that doesn't fulfill the demand of the metabolic demand of the heart for the oxygen. Sorry. And the CHF occurs when there is more demand of the oxygen. Okay, but the oxygen supply is very less. So CHSF occurs when there is more demand of the oxygen, but the supply is very less. That condition, this congestive heart failure occurs. So the congestive heart failure is a state when the heart is not able to pump sufficient blood to meet the body's requirement. In this condition, the blood supply to the heart is not able to meet the metabolic demand of the heart for the oxygen. And the CHF occurs when there is more demand of the oxygen to the heart than its supply. And the major cause of the major cause of the congestive heart failures are myocardial infarction, high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, and the abnormal heartbeat. For the prevention and the control of CHF, we have to use agents that increases the force of the contraction of the heart. So first drugs are positive inotropic drugs. Then the positive inotropic drugs are those drugs which increases the strength of the muscle contraction. Okay, positive inotropic drugs are those drugs that increases the strength of the muscle contraction, and the drug increases the concentration of the intracellular calcium. Okay, increases the concentration of the intracellular calcium by inhibiting the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme. Okay, so the drug that decreases the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme, digoxin and the digitoxin, these two drugs decreases the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme when the and with the that increases the calcium concentration. When the calcium concentration is increases, what happens? There is increase in the myocardial contractibility. So the digitoxin and these two drugs are decreases the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme. Okay, and the cardiac glycosides. Okay, cardiac glycosides are mainly used for this treatment of this congestive heart failure, and the cardiac glycosides are combination of the two moiety, glycon and the aglycon moiety. Glycon moiety is known as sugar moiety, and glycon moiety is known as non-sugar moiety. The non-aglycon portion is responsible for the cardiotonic activity, whereas the glycon moiety is responsible for the solubility and the distribution of the glycosides. Okay, so these two moieties are important to produce the to use for the use of this drug. Okay, as a treatment of the congestive heart failure. So these two moieties are interconnected with the glycosidic linkage. Okay, these two moieties is interconnected with the glycosidic linkage, and the OH group is present in the aglycon portion. That sugar moiety is attached to the OH group of the aglycon portion. Okay, and the aglycon portion is the steroid nucleus. Okay, the glycon portion is the steroid nucleus, where in that AB and the BC. Okay, AB and the CD, these two are the cis fused ring, whereas B and C is the transfused configuration. Okay, so this is the that is differ from the other steroid nucleus. Okay, in the glycoside, the steroid nucleus is present, but the steroid nucleus in the glycoside is different from other steroid present steroid drug. Okay, so this is the difference. AB. Okay, the ring fusion is different from other steroid ring. Okay, so this is all about the glycon moiety and the glycon moiety. So we have seen the digitoxin and the digoxin here. So let's see some MCQs regarding this topic. So cardiac heart failure is, cardiac heart failure means heart is not able to pump. Okay, heart is not able to pump, high lipid level, thrombosis and none. So the correct answer is heart is not able to pump. Cardiac glycosides are used in the treatment of hyperlipidemia, hypertension, CHF, and the diabetes. So the cardiac glycosides are used in the treatment of congestive heart failure, CHF. Cardiac glycosides are consist of glycone part, both, and none. So the correct answer is the cardiac glycosides are consist of glycone part and the glycone part, and these two are connected with the glycosidic linkage. Okay, a glycone part have OH group, so this glycone part attached to that OH group. Okay, and that linkage name is glycosidic linkage. Which part is responsible for the cardiotomic activity of the glycoside? So the glycone moiety, both or none. So glycone moiety is responsible for the solubility and the distribution of the cardiac glycoside, whereas the cardiotonic activity is due to the glycone moiety, steroid nucleus in the cardiac glycoside. So the glycone part is the correct answer. Digoxin is used for the treatment of congestive heart failure, congestive cardiac insufficiency, arrhythmia, all the above. So the digoxin is used for all the above. Okay, the digoxin is used in the treatment of CHF, in the treatment of congestive cardiac insufficiency, and the treatment of arrhythmia. Okay, irregular heartbeat. So the correct answer is all the above. So this is all about drugs used in the congestive heart failure. So in this chapter, in this topic, there are 2 drugs remaining. So we will discuss about that drug in tomorrow's class. Okay, bosentan and the tezosentan. Okay, bosentan and the tezosentans are the 2 drugs remaining in this topic. So we will discuss in tomorrow's class. So I hope everybody had understood it very well. So thank you.